Referendums are often considered the most direct form of democracy, allowing a country's citizens to determine the outcome of a given issue. But they are not universal in democratic systems, and some argue they may actually undermine democracy. CCTV's Roee Ruttenberg has insight.
This was the scene in Florence, Italy earlier this month, as protesters opposed to a referendum scheduled for December clashed with police in a vocal, visual, and an unusually violent sign of their opposition. Prime Minister Matteo Renzi is hoping a yes vote will trim down the Senate and streamline the lower house. The move is largely seen as an attack on the country's regional powers. An already unpopular Renzi has vowed to resign if the initiative fails. Nearby in Hungary last week, MPs narrowly defeated a government-backed anti-migrant bill. It was introduced by Prime Minister Viktor Orban's Fidesz party following a national referendum on refugee quotas. It failed because less than half of eligible voters cast a ballot. But those who did overwhelmingly favored blocking EU quotas. This collision of power between people and parliaments is being seen in London too, where some say only British lawmakers can decide if, how, and when to Brexit, a referendum-coined term used to describe the UK severing its political union with the rest of Europe. That's despite a narrow Leave win earlier this year in a widely watched and hotly contested national referendum. Meanwhile, last month, voters in Colombia shocked the world by narrowly rejecting a peace deal between the government and leftist FARC guerrillas. It would have ended 50 years of civil war that's left thousands of Colombians dead. But a politically charged no campaign, led by a former president, Álvaro Uribe, ultimately managed to edge ahead by a slim margin. Days later, Uribe's successor, the current president Juan Manuel Santos, whose government reached the deal, was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. In August, a majority of voters in Thailand approved a new constitution. It was written by the military, which has been ruling the country for more than 2 years. The yes vote effectively ensured the generals' continued political influence, in that the Senate's seats would be exclusively appointed, and the body would yield veto power over the elected lower house. 2016 saw a whirlwind of referendums, but the uncertainty they bring may explain why some countries like the US don't embrace such national polls. Some may see them as the purest form of popular governance, but others say the referendum process can often subvert democracy, reflecting at any given moment the changing winds, wherever they may be blowing. Roee Ruttenberg, CCTV in Washington.